So I just want to share really quick. I'm feeling a little bit better. I'm still going through everything up and down, up and down. But I'm sitting here and I'm answering remarks that people left on my videos, and I feel like they're like some people I'm really become close with, that I feel like or really understand what I'm going through in my journey. So I just want to say I'm appreciation to all of you. But I wanted to talk about this one remark because it really, when I was answering it, I was kind of like a little bit, there was something in the remark that triggered a little bit of uncomfortable for me. And then when, as I was sitting down and writing, I realized that it's because it was hitting the the nail on the head. It was like pack, right, hitting the nail on the head. And what the remark said is, I'll read it to you. So it's on my video, Must Go Through the Pain to Get the Lesson on Twin Flame Journey. And it was, I remember that video, I was coming down from my daughter's, and it was the day after everything happened, and I had a total breakdown on the way down. I had to stop on the side of the road and start crying. And then I stopped at this viewpoint and I recorded a video. I just want to say also that I've noticed that when I put up these weak videos, all these weak crying videos, I think they're a little less popular than the inspirational ones. People are looking to be pulled out of their misery by inspirational, but this is just what it is. This is raw. And really, this channel is me. So there's going to be inspirational ones, but there's also going to be the raw ones, and that's just kind of showing the truth of this journey, what the twin flame journey really is. It's not all high flying, yay, union. It's not that. Most of the people that I have met that are on the twin flame journey are not in any kind of, anywhere close to any kind of union. I've met quite a few. All of a sudden, since I've been on this journey, I've met a few people on the journey in the physical, which is strange. And it's like, when you're on it, and that was something that also Kat from Sacred Soul Rising said, when you're on this journey, there's no question. Like, I have the questions that come up, but they come up and then they go, because I remember when I had that soul recognition, it was like, my whole world changed. Everything about me changed. I just was shot into this spiritual awakening. I was on a spiritual awakening path before that, but this was just like the ultimate. So I wanted to remark about this, and also say, it's almost like these videos also are like admitting also to myself, even though sometimes it doesn't feel like there's any, it's not like I can go back and take back things that were said or things that I did. And I can't. I mean, we're only where we're at each moment in time. Each moment in time, we're in a different place. And so where I was a week ago is not where I am today, that's for sure. I'm processing this and I'm rising from it and I'm overcoming it, and it's not like I can't go backwards and change. There is no hocus pocus. I can only take the lessons and move on from here. And there's kind of like a mourning in that, because if I could have understood now, then all of this might have not happened. But I get resolve in the knowing that if I had been over it then, I mean, you have to go over something to be able to get over it, right? You can't be over something without going over it or getting over it. So I'll read the remark, and then I'll read the answer that I wrote, and then see if I want to talk about it anymore. So she wrote to me, you need to be whole in your own. Love thyself above all, then love others as you love yourself. This roller coaster ride is happening because you have become codependent, which I think that she meant dependent. Codependent is like when both parts are codependent. It's a cooperation of dependency. Here, he wasn't cooperating with my dependency at all. He's not codependent. He's not dependent on me, I don't think. You know, before this, I kind of had a feeling that he valued or got something from the relationship that we were in, you know, which I imagine he would have had to, otherwise why be in it, you know? But, and then I have these parts of me that come up and they say, well, he was just passing the time with me, because even before we had the big explode, the same day, in the beginning of the day when we met, he said, I kind of feel like we're coming to an end here, like our meetings should be kind of less. And I kind of felt like maybe he was saying that because he wanted to explore, you know, he has this other romantic relationship that he wants to explore, and he wants me to be less in the picture or something. And that's just what it is, right? So that's just part of the accepting. So she wrote, this roller coaster ride is happening because you have become codependent, and that isn't healthy. Your so-called twin definitely has strong boundaries, and he loves himself above all. Yes, absolutely. And that is something that I was learning from him, is to love myself above all. And the same day that we had that big explosion, that was also something that he said to me, because we were on our way to go diving, and I said something to him that I wish the best for him. And he said to me that it would be more like believable if I was to tell him that, first of all, I wish it for myself, and then from wishing it for myself, I can also wish it for him. And it all comes back down. The reason I'm saying that, and I was reminded of it, is because you'll see in the answer that I wrote to her, because at first I just kind of felt uncomfortable. That's not healthy. There's like the things that she wrote, like are a little bit, they're true, but they're a little bit harsh maybe. And so I sat down and really started answering, and I went back and forth, kind of like, I wrote a little bit, and then I erased a little bit, and then I wrote a little bit, because on what she wrote, it didn't, or what you wrote or she wrote, it felt a little bit like something was not sitting well with me. But when I went through it, really, I saw that it was a trigger. It was triggering me and bringing me back to, because what she wrote was honest. It's true. And if I am on this awakening path, see, this is my therapy. This is my therapy. Even with the interactions with all of you, we're going through the same things. So it's also like we have this synergy that we're creating. And I feel a lot of you, and I feel that you feel me. And I almost feel like we're comrades, like we're in this together. And what you tell me, you're telling to yourself as well. Otherwise, it couldn't be coming out of you. And what I'm telling you is also talking to me. So it's kind of like this: we're on the same page and kind of going through the same things. And I feel like camaraderie, like I feel supported, and like I'm finding really good friends that a lot of you, like some of you, I don't even know your names really, but we're corresponding, and I'm feeling you. It's like your energies are to become connected, and I feel supported. So what I wrote to her. So let me read over this really quick. You need to be whole on your own. Love thyself above all, then love others as you love yourself. This roller coaster ride is happening because you have become codependent, because you have become dependent. And that isn't healthy, correct? And so your so-called twin definitely has strong boundaries, and he loves himself above all. Absolutely. Absolutely. And that is a good thing, and I'm happy for him. and good for him. I can learn from it. Okay, so I wrote, yes, you are right. I should love myself first completely, and only then can I truly love another without dependency. This is the whole lesson of this episode, and it is, you can't, if you don't love yourself completely, you can't love another completely. You just can't, because these little gaps come in. This whole jealousy thing that I felt was, I've done videos before about jealousy. I understand jealousy. Jealousy, I can see it and spot it a mile away. But on myself, I still went through this episode of jealousy, right? So what is jealousy? Jealousy is when something else, it threatens your place. So if he is having a romantic relationship with someone else, it's threatening my place with him. And it's making me feel inadequate, which I know that I'm not inadequate. We're all whole. So I wrote, this is the whole lesson of this episode. The only reason that all of this happened is because of jealousy, which is a form of non-self-love and conformed into not loving him completely. So in me being jealous, it wasn't me being, hey, good for you. You have this relationship. Thank you for letting me drive your car. Oh, awesome. It wasn't a love. It was me feeling inadequate. Therefore, I was jealous. Therefore, I wasn't even in appreciation of the love that I was getting from him. And it was completely unclean and all like sideways and backwards, right? And that was what I was talking about at the beginning of this video, that I can't go backwards and take these lessons back to that day. I had to go through that to get these lessons and to come to the understandings that I'm at now. So, and this comment really made me have to go in deep and take a look at it. And these are things that I know. These are things that I know. But in this comment, I'm able to take this and apply it to myself, and to be able to really, really have it hit home and understand how jealousy is non-self-love, and how I need to work on my self-love a little bit more. And maybe that this separation, which is what somebody else wrote me also, that this separation is a good thing. This separation needed to happen so that I can work on my own shadows and do my own shadow work. And I feel like I'm so backed and so loved with all of these comments, I have to say. Like, I have a wonderful woman that writes in, and she's like with me and she supports me, and I have another wonderful woman that calls me hun, which makes me just feel like a little girl, like I'm all wrapped up in a warm blanket. and I feel like I couldn't imagine if I wasn't doing these videos, I would just be like this. Ooh, I don't know where I would be. At least this gives me like my therapy. I don't really think, unless there's a therapist that works in twin flames, I think that we are each other's therapists, because we're like, nobody that is not on this can't understand this. You have to be on this to really understand, like, the ripping of it all. And you know what else? I was thinking to myself that I'm so proud of myself that I'm going through all of this without vices. I haven't smoked weed. I'm getting my alcohol book out. Like, there's no vices. So maybe there's like I'm doing stuff. I'm keeping busy, but that's active, and that's good for me. And even with the chasing, okay, so I let myself chase a little bit. Okay, so I'm chasing a little bit. So the more I chase and it's like counterproductive, the more I get over that freaking chasing energy. Like, I was thinking, I'm just doing my own thing. Oh, and one thing that somebody told me is to sage my area, cleanse my energy. And I think that is a really good idea. A really, really good idea. This is actually a sage stick that my twin gave me. It was probably about this long. And it's been with me for for a good couple months at least that I've been burning it. See, he's like, let me cleanse the energy. Maybe I should finish the video and then do this again to completely dissipate. But thank you to the entities. I have a sink full of dishes again. And my fridge isn't working, so this where was I? See, the sage really does work. It takes you completely off of where you were. So I'm just allowing myself to be, and I was talking about vices and how I'm really proud of myself for being able to, like, get rid of the vices, like not go through this without vices, because it keeps coming up. Like I've done before micro doses of mushrooms, which really brings you into this place of just pure harmony. It's like you come into the harmony of the world. But I want to get to that place without any kind of vices and without any kind of, and the only way to get to that place without any kind of vices is to allow myself to go through all the pain. That's just all there is to it. And so I'm thinking I'm doing what I need to do. I think I'm going to go a little bit later and I'm going to take some busy work. I have some, I have to do my red string. I think I've showed you my red string before. It's this thing. This is my red string. I take to Rachel's tomb, and bless it, and then I make these packs. I have a few different kinds that I sell on Amazon, and I'm not sure if they're on Etsy. They might be, but it's 5 red string bracelets that I sell on Amazon. So if you are looking into them, make sure they look like this. This is mine. They have good energy there, and it comes with a whole explanation about the custom of the red string, and it really is just a reminder of keeping your energy clean and pure. And I put them together myself. So I feel like I'm making an advertisement for myself. Which isn't a bad thing, which is actually a good thing. It's the loving myself first, right? Is believing in what I do. And if I don't believe in what I do, why would anybody else believe in what I do, right? There's another lesson I'm getting from my twin. That's why I really want to build my site and put up things that I have for sale or things that I like, and just be myself and do my own thing there. So I want to read the rest of what I wrote here because it's important. Yes, you are right. I should love myself first completely, and only then can I truly love another without dependency. And that's true. Because look how this worked, this round thing. This whole lesson, this is the whole lesson of this episode. The only reason that all of this happened is because of jealousy, which is a form of non-self-love and conformed into not loving him completely. So my jealousy, my not self-love turned into jealousy, which made me not love him completely, because if I had love for myself completely, nothing would have threatened me in a way that I would feel like I need to hold on to him. This is the core of everything that happened. Thank you for your remark, which helped me bring this into words and a deeper understanding of it, right? So because I didn't have self-love in myself, I was threatened by him texting and setting up a date with another woman. That made me feel threatened in my place, right? But if I had complete self-love, that wouldn't have even, it would have gone completely over my head. It had nothing to do with me. He can love other people. It has nothing to do with his love for me. And it ruined the whole thing with him letting me drive his car, which he doesn't let anybody drive his car, and I got to drive his car. And he has a cool car. And I didn't get to appreciate that completely because I was so lost in all my stupid jealousies, right? And I feel like he set me up. He freaking set me up. First of all, we went to that spring and we did some diving, and I was down in the deep of it. I was like 5, 6 meters down underwater in the sludge. I pulled up a cell phone. I pulled up a whole bunch of bottles, and not anything really. But there was a cell phone, but it was like an old cell phone. It must have been there for ages. I'm sure that there is a ton of jewelry and valuables down there. It's just that the sludge is like, I had my arm this deep in sludge, and you couldn't use the metal detector because there's all sorts of metal bars and things down there. The metal detector was just constantly beeping. So, and besides, you couldn't see anything. So even if couldn't see anything, if I wanted to see my hand, I had to bring it up like this. And I had flashlights on my goggles, but you just can't see anything. Also, once you start digging around in the sludge down there, it's just like, the sludge starts coming up around you. I felt like afterwards I had in my hair like all these gunk, and I smelled like a sewage. And I feel like that was so symbolic. It's like I'm getting into the deepest places inside me and cleaning them out. It's like all the way down. And afterwards, before the whole episode even went down, right? Because that whole episode went down when we were on our way home. Before the whole episode even went down, I told him that there's something about being down there in that sludge that was consoling, because you're in the complete dark. You're with yourself. You have complete privacy. It's like being in a womb. Everything is all wet and sludgy, and you're sticking your hand in, and there's like, you have no concern about, you're dirty or whatever. You're in the filth. You don't concern yourself with how filthy you get. So I was telling him there was something really consoling about being down in there. It's like total privacy with yourself only. And nobody can come in there. And I told him it's kind of like when you go into this meditative state where you go all the way in yourself and you're completely like in the core of your mind, and you're in this like dark, warm place that nobody's invited into and nobody can get in there. It's kind of like that. It feels like that. Sheesh. This is deep. So I was talking in the beginning, like how I feel like a lot of these, I'm going through like a few days of putting up a whole bunch of week videos, and I feel like sometimes I feel like, I'm putting up all these weak videos. People are going to not want to watch these anymore. And then I think to myself, this is what it is. This is the raw truth. This is how the twin flame journey looks. So anybody that's on the twin flame journey can get to these depths of sorrow and pain, and being able to know when you're in it, being able to know that you're not alone in it, and to feel, and somebody also wrote me, you're not alone in this. And I know I'm not alone in this. I know, because but the thing is that it feels so lonely because you're like inside of your own sludge. You're inside of such a deep place and so much pain, and nobody in your outer world really can understand, or a lot of times don't want to understand. They don't want to go in there with you. It hurts. They're like, oh, it's too intense. And so knowing a lot of times with a lot of you, it's that are watching, it's like strangers watching, but I don't feel like we're strangers. I feel like we're more connected on a deep level than anybody that people that have been in my life, my whole life, my parents, my siblings. They cannot go into the depths of the depths. So maybe they know me topically. And that's how I feel like with my twin, that I know him from the depths. He still feels like a little bit like a new person to me almost, because he's only been in my life like really in the physical world. We met a couple of years ago almost, but really in my life for the past year and a little bit. right? Since I think the June of last year, June, maybe May or June of last year is when we started like really being involved in each other's lives. And then it seems like throughout winter we kind of lost touch. And so I don't know what's going to be this winter. See, I'm acting. See, this is the thing. It's like there's this underlying disbelief, underlying disbelief that we're in separation. It's like I need to get over it. I need to believe what he said. It's like you see. It's almost like I'm in disbelief. That's crazy. It's crazy. Because when I really think about the conversation that went down, the things that he said I'm not worthy of his friendship. And I know how he is. He's so strong-headed that when he makes the decision, it's like final. And I've seen him cut other people out of his life. See, I'm saying this without crying, so it's like I'm thinking about it rationally. And you have to have your heart and your mind work together. Okay, I'm seeing that this video is getting awfully long, so I'm going to go ahead and finish it on a high note. I'm working, I'm answering things, I'm doing my own things. So thank you for watching, and you see I'm putting up videos as they come.